What is up, everybody? I am actually going to make a video for my YouTube channel and probably post this to my Facebook too. Not much has changed in the room for updates. I know back on my YouTube channel I promised like a video every, twice a week, once a week, but I'll make an updates video at another time. The point of this video that I wanted to make was actually what I've been seeing on YouTube a little bit lately, so this might be a long video, but I've seen some people post of some of the YouTubers I follow posted basically their COVID experience, what it was like for them, and I decided to do a video on my part of it, and hopefully this doesn't turn into a two-parter, but if it does, I will split it into two parts. But believe it or not, if you know me today, I'm into politics. I never used to get into that before COVID hit. Like, before COVID hit, I never really thought much on politics. Occasionally maybe took somebody's side and complained about something, but that's about, didn't really put much thought into it. But I guess I could say January, February, or even 2019. They say it came in 2019, Trump was blowing it off. I wasn't paying attention. Like I said, I paid no attention to the news, politics, any of that stuff, really. I didn't notice until the nursing home kind of forced it on us, but January, February 2020, normal as normal, wasn't paying no attention. February 28th or 15th, somewhere around there, was when I got my nursing home job. And I started off there just part-time. But then my first, 2 or 3 weeks, I should say, into there, the suspicious thing hit. People were like, oh, sorry, we gotta wear a mask. I didn't even ask what it was. Like I said, I paid no attention to the news, no attention to politics. I had no idea what was going on. I'm just like, okay. What the hell, kind of, you know. Had a little bit of an attitude about it, but kind of slowly through time, I think it came, like they said, in the first 2 weeks of March, if I remember right. I didn't fully understand COVID, what the heck was going on, until probably towards the end of March when we had to wear face shields along with our mask. And that's when I really started paying a little bit of attention to, kind of as we got into April, I guess you could say beginning of April. Yeah, it would be March, April. So maybe it was like April I started really kind of paying attention to what was happening in the world, because April, it's kind of like the whole world kind of just like, in the beginning of March, people were wearing a mask, and no place was really requiring until April. Hy-Vee didn't require until April. The nursing home required it right away, but I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to detail what was going on. There was a manager that was wearing a mask at Hy-Vee. I'm just like, what the heck ever, I'm not wearing this crap if I don't have to. It wasn't until April really where the lockdowns started. Later March, beginning of April, the lockdowns didn't start, and that's when I fully kind of started understanding and paying attention, like, what the hell is going on here? That's when I understood, okay, there's this thing called COVID-19 out there. What the hell is going on here, you know? And then, you know, we had to start wearing shields, and I'm just like, I think it was mid-April till later April, I'm like, I started understanding even more of it because I started researching it, and slowly at that time, very little, I can say, started getting into a little bit of politics, because it was such a dividance at the time. And that's when mid-April, later April, correct me if I'm wrong on these times, but when things really started locking down, and really when it started scaring me particularly, when I really started paying attention to the virus at the time, when I really started kind of acknowledging, okay, there's something going on in the world. This is a what the hell situation. I'm kind of scared, you know, to be honest. I didn't know what it was. Nobody knew what it was at that time, really. Well, except Trump, but, you know, I could be sitting here hours about how we knew what it was. He knew what it was. Basically, we all blew it off. I blew it off, but we're not going to get into that in this video. But I just basically later April started understanding, like, okay, something's really going on here. Mid-April, later April is when I started specifically really understanding, okay, something's going on. The world's crazy. We're all in a lockdown. You know, nobody's out on the streets of New York, LA, pretty damn quiet. And May, when we got into May era, is when I started watching the news a little bit more of just basically piddly stuff on social media. Like, oh, this person's driving over 100 miles an hour down the road because there's lockdowns. You know, stuff like that I started paying a little bit of attention to. And then probably as we hit later May into June, maybe I could even say mid-May is when I and I think the rest of the world finally was just at their wits' end of kind of like having either believing this virus was a thing, not believing the virus was a thing, it was all politics, or just completely fed up with it because we were told at nursing homes and hospitals basically, this might be only a week or two thing. We're not for sure yet. This has just popped up. Our bosses have told us to do this. We don't know how long this is going to go on. Maybe just a week or two. When restaurants closed down in March, maybe just a week or two. But it was May, June era. After everything kind of being shut down. Later May. Should say towards like the end of May. Into April. Well, May into June. Sorry if I'm getting these months wrong. I'm just so confused right now. Scatterbrain. But later May into June is when things kind of, opened up with restrictions. Like bars could open back up, but with a 6-foot restriction. And I think that's when my dad, he was laid off from his full-time job, but then he was able to go back in June. But it was still very, very slow. A few people, I should say, in that late towards the end of May, beginning of June, for sure middle of June area is when kind of everybody started going back to work, but not fully, you know what I mean? Like they kind of fully figured out how they're going to do this. Okay, you're going to work from home still in this June time, or you're going to come back to work, but kind of with restrictions basically, because times were slow. Nobody was out. So June is when I think everybody understood, at least the people I knew, that we overlooked it till about June, later June. For sure by about that month of June, towards the end of June, middle of June, end of June, we all started kind of getting scared, understanding what was going on in the world, understanding this could last a while, this could last 2.5 to 3 years, basically. What did it last? Almost 3 years. But we just kind of all started understanding it, and I started understanding it. I'm coming from my perspectives here. And I think later June into July, I just was accepting of it. Okay, life sucks. This is just the way life's going to be. Hy-Vee was requiring masks by April, late April. I was always forgetting mine, so they always made me wear one. And basically everyone was requiring masks kind of year later June, mid-June, later June eras. Every place was kind of opened back up basically to the public, but required masks, required a 6-foot distance. Some places didn't fully reopen, like their dining room or something. I think Hy-Vee in that later June era did finally reopen their dining room, but it was with a 6-foot restriction, and just everywhere requiring masks. And around July, I think, before one of the maybe it was like around April, I got offered full-time. I forgot to mention that. So I was working full-time at the nursing home, 1 day a week at Hy-Vee. It's getting pretty big bonuses. Essential worker for government was handing out for Hy-Vee, essential worker for the nursing home. So 2 essential working jobs. I was making more money than ever at that time before inflation. But making several different bonuses from both jobs, even working Hy-Vee just once a week. They were handing out some pretty big bonuses they were getting from federal, and so working full time, like I said, those months went on, started understanding it better, started accepting it. Okay, life is like this. And I think after that April era also, I forgot to mention, I had a coworker. We got a new coworker in June. It was all guys in June, and kind of just one of the best crews. I remember just having all three of us guys. We were just like basically considered the heroes at the time, just trying to keep things clean, just trying to keep things up because of COVID at that time. And I guess once June kind of, I was worked into everything, got to know all the coworkers. All the coworkers were trained in by June. We got all guys. The two people that trained me, they moved on to other jobs because they came between April and May era. And then June was kind of just like, everybody accepts this. We're all wearing masks in public everywhere. I wasn't doing it everywhere in public, just really the places that required it. But even in June era, that's where I started paying a tiny bit more attention to politics. But then when July hit, I think it was around July, I made my dating website on Facebook. Because a coworker kept meeting all these guys. And I'm like, where are you meeting all these guys? What site are you on? Because I've tried a few, but none of them are working. And she's like, Facebook dating. So, of course, tried out Facebook dating. And July 16th, my life changed. I swear I might get emotional, but no, it's actually been too long. I'm not going to get emotional, but July 16th of 2020 is when my life changed forever, basically. Not forever, I should say. It changed at that time. Never had a girl message me on the dating websites I tried. I always messaged to the girl, and the girl messaged me, said hello, and that was basically it. I freaked out. I asked all my coworkers, what do I do? What do I do? What do I say? I don't particularly remember what I said. I think I said, hi, I like your pictures of you and your dog. I like dogs. I have a dog. She worked at Hy-Vee, at a different Hy-Vee that I worked at. I'm like, I work at Hy-Vee too. Part-time, full-time in a nursing home. And then we started talking about a little bit about like, hey, this COVID crap is crazy, isn't it? Yeah, I do like the bonuses though. Yeah, kind of just stuff like that we started talking about, and it took off from there. And I think I talked to her all day that day. Well, after I got off work, because it was middle of my break, then I had to get back to work. Then I talked to her later on that day when I got off work, and then we talked for about 2 days, got her Snapchat, and she's like, hey, I like you. Can you just have my Snapchat? I feel more comfortable talking over Snapchat. I'm like, sure, I'll re-download it, because I deleted it. I'll re-download it, I'll let you know. Made a new one, made a new account. I'm like, here's my name. She's like, okay. We talked on Snapchat from like July 20th, or should I say like July 17th or 18th, because we only talked on Facebook for like a day or two, and then she wanted my Snapchat. So we talked for about like till the end of July into August era, and I was too scared. I'm like, I really like this girl. I want to ask her out. And I was too scared. I had actually a coworker ask her out for me because I was too scared of just, hey, I like you. Why don't we go out sometime? Took her from there. I'm like, I'm free Saturday because I wasn't working weekends at that time. Our part-time person was. But I'm like, I think it was. Or maybe it was a Friday or something. I can't remember. But it was some day I had off. I'm like, you want to go out this time? 3 o'clock, I think it was. Sure, 3 o'clock. You want to meet up? And then she just asked me the basic questions like anybody would ask at those times. Have you been around anyone that has COVID? I'm like, no, I don't believe so. Our building doesn't have it. I haven't been around anybody with it that I know of. I get COVID tested twice a week. I can send you the negative test. She's like, no, I'll believe you as long as it's negative. It's just my mother. And I met up with her. Gotta say, at that time, I'm gonna put it in terms, at that time was the best night of my life. Just went to Applebee's, really talked with each other, kind of, really took hit it off with each other, and kind of just said, it was, hey, I kind of like you, and it's like, yeah, I like you too. We should go out again. We're like, yeah, well, I'll keep in touch with you. I think it was like, how about next weekend or something? Sure, we'll go out next weekend. But we stayed in touch. Went out with her again. She was already buying me gifts, so I'm like, damn, I'm going to buy this girl gifts. After that date, I can't remember all our damn dates. I don't think about that stuff anymore. Who wants to think about the past when you got better hopes for the future that you can think about? But I was just kind of thinking about it. Like, I guess, I don't know. I can't remember what our second date was, but we went out a second time. I bought her a gift. Then we both, I can't remember, I think we both started she started hitting on me after that through Messenger after that second date, and I left again. She started hitting on me, so I started hitting on her. We both took it off. By that third date, she already sent me the request to put in a relationship on Facebook, so I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to post this in a relationship. Because I think by our third date, I already shared a picture of us on Facebook. She's like, sure, share it. So I shared a picture of us on Facebook. Then that same day or next day or something, she's like, sends me a request to show that you're in a relationship with someone on Facebook. And took off from there. Things remained kind of lightish, happy. Just felt like at that time, just like I wasn't even really paying attention to COVID. My mind was just on this girl, starting a life with her, and just, wow, my life is complete kind of deal, I had in my mind. Like, wow, my life's complete, and nothing can go wrong. Well, September, my boss caught COVID. I thought she'd break up with me, so I cried because I thought she'd break up with me. She said, no, I'm not ever going to go anywhere. I won't break up with you. And if you caught COVID, I'm not going anywhere. I told her I'm negative. She was still good with me at that time. I felt like, wow, this girl really is the one. And in October, November, I caught COVID in November. Had a quarantine for the 10 days. And then got out just in time for my birthday to go out with her again. And just after that December, I would say after like the second week in December, something just didn't seem right between us. When I would talk to her, you ever get when somebody's kind of mellowed out when they're just like, meh, I know. Kind of where they're just like, I don't give a fuck stage, but I'm not going to tell you that because I don't want to be mean. Kind of felt like that. But we went out on our very last ever time I saw her face, I should say, or had a face-to-face conversation with her, was like that third week in December, second week in December. Like, I think it was 2 weeks after my birthday, week or two after that. And because that night of my birthday week, that week or a few days after, she had something happen, got upset with me, but then that, like, roughly that week after, that last time I ever went out with her, she said, oh, it's all good now, it's down with. But then she just seemed really hostile. I remember going somewhere because it was also her mom's birthday, and her mom was going through some stuff with her boyfriend. Apparently he was going to leave her for another woman, but then came back after I met her that last time, and she just said they're back together, and I just kind of blew it off. I just kind of ignored it. But then that last time I ever saw her, I just remember kind of leaving, just like, something just doesn't seem right. Those last 2 weeks in December, I was talking to her. I was just like, especially towards that last week, I just kept thinking to myself, something's not right. Something doesn't feel right. You know how you get like those gut feelings, like something's not right. Something doesn't feel right. Well, that last week I talked to her, especially, just every time I got done talking to her, I just felt upset. I just felt like something's not right. Like you kind of get the feeling when you talk to a friend or something, like something's bothering them, but they're not telling you. It's kind of like that, and I'm just like, something's not right. I even told my friend that. I'm like, something's not right. He's like, maybe it'll lighten up. Maybe it's just her. I'm like, yeah. She also, because that Christmas week or those few days after, that week before Christmas, I spent like $200 or something on her for Christmas gifts, and she's just like, I'm on my period. I'm not feeling good. Don't come here. Just like, it upset me because that's the first time she ever kind of denied us going out. I'm like, then the girls at work were very supportive. Like, yeah, she needs her time. I'm like, okay. And then 3 days after Christmas, we were supposed to go out that weekend again, and just because I was also getting a new car that weekend, and she just said, hey, I don't think our relationship's going to work out. I fell asleep that night, didn't look at the message till at break the next day at work, and then I'm like, can we talk about this face to face? Seems kind of stupid to do this over Messenger. She's like, no, I don't think it's going to work out. Hey, it's over. I broke down. Had a lot of support, though, from a lot of people. Make my life better, and never heard from her again after 3 days after that Christmas. She blocked me on Facebook. I never was able to message her again. I completely gave up. I still had her number and her Snapchat, but I'm just like, screw this. I'm done. Fell into kind of I wouldn't say a deep depression, but kind of fell into like a depression where I just, in 2021, that's where I started really paying attention to politics, and where my politics in my life started really, what started my politics, and it just everything politics, because just I was just going through so much personal stuff and doing so much personal stuff at that time. I was just like so depressed and just didn't know what to do, and felt like I was a loser, felt like I was worthless, at that time. And then later 2021, I got another new car, my current car I drive now, and I'm just like, I'm going to improve my life. I'm going to make my life better. 2022, it was July 2021, and I'm just like, I'm done being depressed. I'm done being miserable. I'm done trying to be a simp, basically, because I tried to go out with like 2 other girls, and I was just focusing on girls, not making myself happy. And 2021, later 2021, I was a little bit still pretty bad about it. It was just all girls with me, a little bit into that, but just really, I got a little bit better and just decided in later 2021, especially like, I think it took me over till about September to fully get over my ex. 2021 of like August or September, so it took me over 6 months to get over. But when life finally started improving, I saw light at the end of the tunnel. I'm like, I'm just going to improve my life. I'm not going to sit here in misery forever. Fucker. 2022, I'm like, this is going to be the year. I'm going to find love. I'm just going to make my life better. I'm going to take my life off. 2022, same kind of COVID era. Rest of the world was kind of just, a lot of mandates and stuff were starting to lift away by that time. In 2022, everything was basically lifted except for nursing homes and hospitals were still requiring masks, but a lot of them took their face shields away and stuff, and we're just kind of, things were lining up. I got another girlfriend in 2022. I think it was like April or May. I got another girlfriend, and things really started improving. I'm like, wow, things are improving. My life's improving. Life still sucks with a little bit of COVID here, but it's not as bad as it was. 2022 was much better. Probably I would call the second best year of my life. 2020, I might say, was the best year of my life because I got my nursing home job and everything and met some great people, but 2022, it's probably the second best. Kind of. I don't know. As of now it is, but I broke up with the girl I was dating in 2022, and I did about the same thing my ex did, even though I said I would never do it. I texted her and broke up with her, like mine did to me. But that was such a whole different situation. I could get into so many details about which I'm not going to, of why I did that. And trust me, if you were in my situation, you would have done the same thing. But 2022 kind of ended on a pretty good note. Turned 22. Pretty good note. I'm like, looking back in 2022, hell of a lot better than 2021. Still was a little bit of a simp for girls, not really focusing on. Slowly got a lot better in 2022. I'm making my life happy. 2023 that we're in now, I really took off with making myself happy, just doing things for myself. I'm still on dating websites, but I haven't put as much thought into it as I used to. Come when it comes. I'm still young, It's going to come when it comes. I got to focus on stuff like this. If I get a wife someday, she's going to throw a fit about this. Or girlfriend, she's probably going to throw a fit about this. But the 2 girlfriends I've had, I've never had a problem with it. But who knows, guys? And gals or whoever's watching this, or cats, or whatever the world's come to, But, yeah, basically, she might have a fit about this someday. But I got to keep focusing on this stuff and my mowers and stuff. I decided in 2023, got a second job. I'm like, I got to make money and just make myself happy, do things I love. So that's basically my COVID story, We got rid of our mask in 2023. Took about 3 years, but we got rid of it all. It's all over now. Federal says it's over finally in 2023. And I hope the year keeps going great for 2023. I got like 5 minutes left on this phone for a video. Just going to wrap things up by saying life's improved over the last 2 years, basically since 2021. Life's great. We may be heading into World War III, but I don't think negative anymore. 2021 is when I got into my politics, and nothing but politics since and towards the end of 2021, Good thing I started paying attention. Didn't even vote in 2020 because I was in such a dream world with my girl at the time. Voted in 2022, gonna vote in 2024. Donald Trump 2024, boys and girls. But yeah, but I think that's gonna be it for this video. I've been sitting here talking with you guys for almost a half an hour, just about things in my life. I don't know how long this is going to take to upload to Facebook and YouTube. I might have to do just one at a time. And I don't even know who's going to watch this full video, but I guess we'll see. That's going to be it.